Hey guys, it's Drek, and this is the Quickfire Sniper by Airzone. As you can see, this box is huge. My wingspan is about 6 feet, a little over that actually, and it's at least half of that. I want to say it's at least 3 feet long. It's a very large blaster. It's got an odd priming rod, and I wanted to show you this just because I thought it was odd. In the box, the priming bar comes out the back end. It's got a unique type of darts that's similar to streamlines, and it's clip fed through an Airzone type magazine. I think it's really neat. The ranges that the box claims are 30 feet, and I've been told that these are somewhat valid, so I was very excited when I found one for myself to pick up and review. I'm clipping it out of the box right now with a tool that I've actually been using for chainmail. And maybe if you guys are interested, someday I'll make a video on that. In a lot of ways, this is clearly designed to compete with the longstrike. It's got a similar handle, although the curve is more dramatic. I think this looks more sci-fi-esque than the longstrike does, whereas the longstrike is designed to look tactical. This looks sort of like a sniper rifle from space. I'm going to try and get the darts that this comes with out of the package, and I'll review it with those first. But I do have some streamlines sitting on the sideline here to check out after I shoot through those, because obviously streamlines are what I have more of, and I'd like to know how the blaster performs with that ammunition as well. These are the darts that it comes with. They don't actually have domed tips. They're flat. I wonder if the blue foam is different than the orange foam that it seems to be made out of at the bottom. They're very similar to streamlines, I can tell you that much before I even load them. Here's this. It's got a hard rubber tip that is flat. It's actually very interesting and looks like it could be a more efficient dart. The foam is very similar to nerf foam, which is strange, but I feel like it's just as good, if not better. And these darts are, you can tell they're just a hair shorter, but it's an interesting blaster. It's a direct plunger blaster, which is one way that it's better than the longstrike. I can't find a clip release on the blaster, but it looks like it's on the clip here, and it is. I'm going to load the clip now. I've got to admit, I don't like this clip as much. I think it's a little awkward. I'm assuming the clip only holds 6 darts because that's what the blaster came with. And it looks like you could squeeze a 7th one in there, but it's probably not worth the trouble. The clips, like the longstrike, I can't tell if this is actually designed to hold the clips, but it seems to be. And if it isn't, it does a fine job of it. Yes. It is designed to hold these clips. It holds 2, one on each side, just like the longstrike. The stock is removable in its stock form, which means I don't have to mod this to have a removable stock, which has always confused me about the longstrike. I have no idea why it was permanently attached. This front barrel here is removable, easily so, very similar, and the tip underneath it actually looks very cool. I'm going to fire off one shot with the blaster in its completed form, and then I'm going to break it down because it should get better ranges. Actually, unlike the longstrike, again, this is a huge inner diameter for this barrel attachment, and it probably won't affect the ranges at all, if any. These pieces are soft, which is strange, and I'm going to load the blaster now and fire it. You guys are going to have to forgive me. I've never used Airzone blasters with clip systems before, so it's a little tricky. Not a lot of draw here on this, which is quirky. It means that the plunger tube must not be very large, but it's a direct plunger, so hopefully it gets the ranges it's claimed. I think that the claimed ranges are for once very accurate. It seems to be hitting that 30-foot mark reliably with that first shot. The blaster becomes very small and almost looks like an SMG in its minimized form, which is weird. It breaks down to much smaller than the longstrike does. definitely getting 30 feet. I want to say that that last shot went 35. For a blaster that's designed to compete with the long strike, it's winning in every aspect that I can tell thus far, with the exception of readily available darts and maybe this clip system. I have a bunch of in-strike clips and I don't have any of these except for the one it's come with. Okay, so these darts, this clip actually will not fit a Nerf streamline. So to be fair, I'm going to cut this streamline down. If I can find some scissors anywhere. Maybe I can use this tool. Looks like that'll work fine. And if I cut about a centimeter off of this streamline, I can take one test shot with a streamline. The streamline in its cut down form fits very well. You can tell that it's pretty easy to mirror them to the original darts. And I'm going to load this and fire it and tell you what kind of ranges it gets. It didn't fire, that was strange. Perhaps this blaster is not designed to work with streamlined darts. I can check the jam door. It's got a similar dart tooth. There it is, it was in fact jammed. Let me take a regular streamline and try loading it into the breech itself and see how that works. I'm trying to give you guys a very comprehensive review of this blaster because thus far I like it more than the long strike, and I want to be sure. This dart tooth is more efficient, that's worth mentioning. The dart is loaded just fine when I manually loaded it, not through the clip, so I may just need to tinker with the clip more. I'm still having trouble getting this to prime completely and the jam door to depress, and it just comes down to this dart being too long. It's very strange. Well, I've jammed this blaster. Nobody is perfect. I'm going to fix it off camera and I'll tell you if I can get it to work with streamlines after this segment. Alright guys, so I figured out that this blaster has a clip lock, which is why I was having trouble single loading it in. I've created a streamlined dart that mirrors the air zone darts very well, in that I cut off this rubber tip that goes down in. It's usually located right about here, and it stops the post in this blaster from pushing the dart through. Also, in this blaster, the dart tooth is lifted with the trigger pull, which was throwing me off when I was trying to work with it. The internals are very different from a traditional Nerf blaster. I'm going to load in my special dart that I've just created exclusively for seeing how Nerf darts perform in this blaster. Hopefully it'll work this time, and when I fire, I get roughly the same ranges, and I feel like that's due to the direct plunger system of this blaster. I think this blaster is really cool, and this is the real kicker. It was $25 at Toys R Us, which means that it's $5 less than the cheapest I've ever seen a long strike for. So not only does it cost less, I think it looks cooler, and it performs better. That's very strange. Nerf really needs to get back on the horse and start making direct plunger blasters, because this alone is a testament to the fact that they're better in almost every way. Even though it's got strange locks and weird darts, it's working and performing better even with Nerf darts. I realize that this scope comes off, so if you wanted to minimize this blaster entirely, you could take it down to this, which is very small. This blaster is very cool and I like it a lot. You can't pull the trigger without the clip in either. If I take this apart to mod it, it'll be to put a tougher spring into this plunger and remove some of these locks to make it as smooth functioning as a long strike is with its locks removed. As always, thanks for watching, guys.